This latest arrest is linked to the same Central American groups accused of turning rental homes in Lake Worth and West Palm Beach into houses of ill repute.
America, we just witnessed the takedown of one of the largest sex trafficking operations in Florida history. 90 people were arrested in a massive multi-county bust that exposed a sophisticated brothel network spanning from Miami to Florida. And get this, one of these brothels was operating out of a former church building. But here's what's really sick. Of course, some of these people involved are illegal immigrants who are exploiting America's broken immigration system to run a criminal enterprise that's destroying families and communities. This wasn't just prostitution, this was organized human trafficking with connections to money laundering and violence.
31-year-old Cynthia Saucedo Torres is charged with human trafficking, deriving support from prostitution, money laundering, child neglect, and keeping a house of ill fame.
What is up, guys? TYSON DELACRUZ here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly shows how criminal organizations exploit every aspect of human society, even sacred spaces like churches, to build their illegal empires, while our own broken immigration system allows foreign criminals to operate with impunity. Let me break down this massive operation that just went down across multiple Florida counties. According to the most recent reports, law enforcement agencies coordinated simultaneous raids. This wasn't some small-time operation. This was a coordinated criminal enterprise that had been operating across multiple counties, using legitimate businesses and former religious buildings as cover for their illegal activity. The investigation reveals that this network was, of course, fueled by blank trafficking, intimidation, violence, and incredibly, and of course, some operators were even using their own children in these criminal enterprises. Sometimes, guys, this is really hard to comprehend. Now, here's where the story gets absolutely disgusting. One of these brothels were operating out of a former church building, a church. These criminals took a place that was supposed to be sacred and turned it into a den of exploitation and human trafficking.
This home on Pinewood Avenue is where Palm Beach County deputies say they found a brothel connected to a larger human trafficking operation.
Think about the level of disrespect and moral bankruptcy it takes to convert a house of worship into a place where women are exploited and trafficked. This shows exactly how these criminal organizations view American society and our values. They have zero respect for anything that we hold sacred.
Criminals from Central and South America have been running brothel houses. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office has just raided another one, and they say it's connected to previous high-profile arrests of madams.
Yeah, and once again, the court records are revealing how the women were forced into prostitution in what has been described as a sophisticated and dangerous operation.
The fact that criminals from Central and South America have been running these brothel houses for nearly 2 years shows that they've been exploiting our immigration system to build criminal enterprises on American soil. Of course, some of these people involved in this operation are illegal. This is exactly what happens when you have a broken immigration system that allows foreign criminals to enter our country and set up sophisticated criminal enterprises.
On Wednesday, deputies arresting Selvin Garcia and Patricia Bielma Torres, who records show are in the country illegally.
Selvin Garcia and Patricia Torres, who records show are in the country illegally, were arrested in connection with this operation. This is another crime that didn't have to happen if we had proper immigration and border security during the Biden administration. The level of exploitation is absolutely staggering here. Women were forced to have blank with 5 to 6 people a day and were only paid $200. This is modern day slavery happening in American communities while illegal immigrants profit from human misery. This wasn't just random brothel activity. This was a sophisticated criminal network that operated across multiple counties with connections to money laundering, violence, and intimidation. The investigation began in March 2024, revealed brothels operating in Lake Worth Beach, West Palm Beach, and Fort Myers, all run by the same criminal organization.
A resident near Pinewood Avenue sending this cell phone video to CBS 12 News in Espanol. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office moving in on a house of ill repute.
Residents were so concerned about what was happening in their neighborhoods that they were sending cell phone videos to news stations showing law enforcement raids on these houses. This criminal network isn't just about blank trafficking. It's about using violence and intimidation to control their territory and eliminate competition. According to the affidavit, the group used threats, violence, and intimidation to dominate the local blank trade. In one incident, associates fired multiple multiple rounds into a rival brothel to force its closure. This is gang warfare happening in American neighborhoods over brothels.
At this location, a stone throw away from historic Northwood in West Palm, we observed some strange things. A 2x4 nailed to the exterior walls to block this door, and a black tarp to add a layer of privacy on this chain link fence.
This shows how these criminals were fortifying their operation against both law enforcement and rival organizations. The criminal enterprise wasn't just operating locally. It had international connections for money laundering that sent proceeds back to Mexico and the Dominican Republic. Financial records reveal $18,000 in wire transfers originated from Mexico and the Dominican Republic, showing how these criminal organizations move money internationally to fund their operations and hide their profits.
And get this, neighbors tell me this used to be a small independent church. When it was sold, it became a house. And here's what PBSO says has been happening inside.
The fact that they converted a former church into a brothel shows the level of disrespect that these criminals have for American values and institutions. They're literally desecrating sacred spaces to build their criminal empires. The recent arrest of 90 people connected in this brothel network shows how extensive these criminal operations have become in Florida. This represents one of the largest blank trafficking busts in the state's history. Charges include human trafficking, money laundering, keeping a house in ill fame, and multiple counts of child neglect. Some of these criminals were literally abandoning their children to flee to Mexico when law enforcement started closing in. According to the investigation, some suspects fled to Mexico in February, leaving 3 children, ages 10, 12, and 17, alone in Palm Beach County. Even more shocking, the 17-year-old was forced to manage the brothels in their absence. The fact that this network operated nearly 2 years while using violence, intimidation, and even children shows how sophisticated and dangerous these criminal organizations have become. They're not just breaking immigration law, they're destroying American communities and exploiting the most vulnerable people in our society. America, this massive brothel bust in Florida perfectly illustrates how our broken immigration system enabled foreign criminals to build sophisticated criminal enterprises on American soil. 90 arrests connected to a network that operated across multiple counties, used violence and intimidation, and even converted a former church into a brothel. Of course, some of the people involved are illegal immigrants. This is exactly what happens when you don't enforce immigration law and allow foreign criminals to operate with impunity. These weren't just immigration violations. These were violent criminals who were trafficking women, laundering money internationally, and using children to manage their operations. The fact that one of these brothels was operating out of a former church shows the level of disrespect these criminals have for American values and institutions. They literally desecrated a sacred space to build a brothel. This network operated for nearly 2 years using threats, violence, and intimidation to dominate the local blank trade. They fired bullets at rival brothels, abandoned their own children to flee to Mexico, and forced a 17-year-old to manage criminal operations. The 90 arrests represents one of the largest sex trafficking busts in Florida history, but it also shows how extensive these criminal networks have become. When foreign criminals can enter our country illegally, set up sophisticated criminal enterprises, and operate for years without consequences, it shows that our immigration system wasn't just broken, it was actively enabling human trafficking and organized crime. Thanks, Joey B. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.